Interns. Every summer, hordes of college students and one weird high schooler migrate to major American cities, especially here in New York, where they waddle into the skyscrapers of high-flying industries like finance, tech, and consulting, and pretend to be adults. But as these large children, with their confusing slang and ill-fitting dress shirts, invade our business enclaves, stand in line outside of our dive bars, and awkwardly linger on the fringes of our open-plan offices, just waiting for someone to give them a task to complete, an important question remains. What are they actually doing here? Today, we investigate. I began my investigation by typing "what's the point of summer internships" into my computer, where I learned such facts as internships are a great option to gain the invaluable benefits associated with them, and the primary objective of an internship is to gain experience and exposure to a certain field. I mean, it was sounding like the internship stakes were pretty high. A suspicion I soon confirmed with some random videos of strangers yelling at me online.
If you don't have an internship the summer after your sophomore year, it'll make it harder for you to get an internship the summer after your junior year, which will then impact the chances of you getting a decent job after college.
Internships are more important now than they ever were before.
Change the course of your entire career.
One of the most important career investments you can make.
Interns, it's not about what you're going to learn this summer, my friends. It's going to be who you meet.
As you can see, internships are the most important thing that will happen in your entire life. And perhaps this is why so many of our best, brightest, and most type A young people are so determined to get one into their high-achieving crosshairs. Today, acceptance rates at top internships have fallen below 1%, with Goldman Sachs, for example, receiving over 360,000 applications for just this summer's class. Companies in finance and accounting now recruit interns nearly a year and a half before they'd be expected to start, meaning many current summer interns applied in 2023, which, to jog your memory, is the year of ancient phenomena such as the Drippy Pope, Barbenheimer, the Met Gala cockroach, and it was also the last time my wife allowed me to caress her intimately. But enough beating around the bush, which is something I haven't done since 2023. I decided to seek out the highest possible authority on internships. None other than LinkedIn themselves.
In today's job market, it helps you get a job.
Corey Cantega is the head of Economics America at LinkedIn. A real goddamn job title.
It's particularly slow for entry-level workers, so it is critical to do everything you can to get an advantage in the labor market when it's so competitive. Financial services, technology, information, and media, those are key areas where you can get a leg up if you interned. You want to use the internship to figure out where you want to go, how to build your career. It's not just a tool to get a job, it's a tool of discovery. The ability to do an internship is not accessible to everyone. If you can get an internship that's paid, that's a great advantage. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of folks pursue internships in finance, because they are all paid.
Indeedy, in the world we call business, internships in the finance sector are often deemed the ritziest, not only because of the connections they provide, but also the fat salaries they offer these kids to blow on whole milk and Newports. If kids are still spending money like they used to. For example, banks like Goldman Sachs and hedge funds like Citadel pay from $50 to $150 an hour, so you can make more than 20 bands in 2 months in a single summer. So it's no surprise that applying to these things is a process that includes a whole lot of resume bullshitting and a whole lot of rejection.
You really don't have any experience, any relevant experience, so you just try to make anything sound like relevant experience.
I applied to around 30 to 40 internships, and I think I got ghosted by over 90% of them. I know a lot of people, like you, are looking at internships even as early as your freshman year.
I emailed 50 firms. I chatted like maybe 10,
20, 30.
Everyone was on the grind with their networking, coffee chats and things like that. I skipped all of my lectures, like especially second semester when like the recruiting for summer hyped up. I skipped almost every single class.
There's this thing called the 400 questions guide, and there's literally 400 questions that relate to investment banking recruiting, and students are memorizing all of them and being able to answer all of them just to even have a shot.
It was psychotically competitive. Like there would be networking events on campus and people would lie about when they were so that you wouldn't make it there and stuff like that.
Hey, I just wanted to take a moment and thank you for watching Good Work with me, Gavin Crenshaw. I am Gavin Crenshaw, and I've always been Gavin Crenshaw. Ask anything about me. my address, my financial information, my various health conditions, my 5 kids, my long overdue mortgage. Becoming Gavin Crenshaw only took a bit of perusing on data brokerage sites for a juicy identity worth stealing. But if you don't want me to become you, then you might want to check out something called Incogni. Incogni is an online service that keeps your personal information off data broker and people search sites. Then they continually track down and add any new data brokers to your profile that might try to sneak in there after you've made an account. And if you go to incogni.com/goodwork, then you can get 60% off an annual plan. Plus, if you sign up for Incogni Unlimited, you can submit an unlimited number of links to request your data be removed, and you can trigger opt-out requests beyond the 250 plus data brokers Incogni already automatically requests. Or alternatively, you can let me become you. And mark my words, I will become you. This is truly the stuff of nightmares. An internship culture so intense that it's morphed America's college kids into hardo internship seekers first and students second. But listen, when you finally arrive at being hired as an intern, I mean, these things simply gotta be like the greatest gigs ever, right? I mean, like Corey said, it's the time to build your career.
It's
a tool of discovery. Right?
Looking back on it, I'm like, there is nothing I was doing that was that important. It's literally sending PowerPoints around, taking notes on calls, playing around on Excel. Everyone who I know is successful, like at good firms, all of them basically spend their entire summers, for lack of a better word, being miserable, taking on as much as they could.
They moved into a brand new office. He was just like, hey, you guys are gonna build all of our desks. So we built fucking desks.
It was a lot less work than you'd expect. You'd expect to be busy working long hours, but a lot of it was reading the Wall Street Journal and just trying to be able to hold a conversation with some of these people that work there.
And let me tell you, it might seem like nothing, but kids, the older you get, the more you find out that trying to be able to hold a conversation with the people that work with you is harder than splitting a goddamn atom. But broadly, it seems like despite whatever importance internships hold down the line, and despite their pay or the effort put into actually getting them, a lot of places have no clue what to do with these corporate cuties when they finally spawn in your office. Unlike my intern Lucas, who I have pushing that boulder up the hill for very legitimate reasons that he will figure out once he is done. However, I have come across one prominent exception to the wayward directionlessness that fills many an intern summer. Partying.
The people that were going out were getting obliterated, like just drinking.
Welcome to so-called Intern Row, a loose conglomerate of popular watering holes among the intern class in Manhattan's Lower East Side, found in a quadrant of streets that sound just like your office's 4 new Nepo hires: Ludlow, Orchard, Rivington, and Stanton. While traversing these grounds, I was a little scared one of these business cherubs would come out and bite my leg, so I called in a little expert backup from Lydia Moynihan, a reporter for the New York Post who's extensively covered young professionals living it up in the city. Lydia, how are you?
Pleasure.
Thank you for joining us here.
I'm so glad to be here as an anthropologist explaining intern culture on Wall Street. I can say this as somebody who didn't grow up here. This is where everyone wants to be. They think this is the height of civilization. It kind of feels like a rite of passage.
Interesting.
You have your bat mitzvah or your bar mitzvah in some cultures in Judaism. And in this culture, you have your rite of passage, which is going to hair of the dog, kind regards, going to brass monkey. But you don't really have any real responsibility as an intern. And I think that's something that we need to note, because you speak with a lot of these interns and there is a lot of pressure to perform. On the other hand, they don't really contribute that much. In a way, it's sort of blissful because there's no real stressors or responsibilities on your shoulders in terms of the company. But obviously you do want to get a return offer.
You want to prove you're a hard worker even though the work you're going to be getting isn't necessarily hard.
No, and I will also...
But despite how sick of a hang this was, I couldn't get out of there without talking to the mayor of Intern Row, AJ Alexatos, owner of the bar, Hair of the Dog, an Intern Row staple where I pulled trig for the first time. We're right at the cusp of intern season. We can see the tidal wave in front of us, and it looks like a bunch of bonobo suits and Bank of America backpacks. How are you preparing for intern season?
Well, we love it. We can't wait for them to come. We're welcome to everybody and anybody. You know, the way we do things, our pricing, it just encourages, you know, all walks of life. So, you know, the more the merrier. They're so full of energy. They can't wait to just go out. A lot of them do work, you know, insane, especially like the hedge fund guys. But for the most part, they're just excited to be in the city and, you know, work and party.
Can you usually tell what industries these interns are working in when they're here? Do they usually tell you?
I mean, we always just assume finance, but, you know, it's a mix between marketing and finance.
Why the assumption of finance?
That's just the classic bro look in the city.
Is there a giveaway for that at all?
You know, like you said, the Bank of America backpack, the swag, the Patagonia vest, yeah, the slacks, white socks.
I'm sure a lot of interns are curious what the advice might be from the owner of their favorite bar in New York City. What's your advice to interns as they come here this summer?
You know, just, you know, treat your bartenders with respect, you know, treat your neighbors with respect, and come in and have a good time. That's really what it's all about.
Come in, have a good time. That's really what it's all about. Much like me throughout this investigation, I imagine many of you interns will be sitting at your place of work this summer thinking, what the hell is the point of all this? Folks, the shortcomings of internships are about as glaring as the summer sun upon my Anglo-Saxon forehead. We now have a system in a few massive, influential industries where people who are basically still children feel like they need to force themselves into a highly exclusive, broadly inaccessible, and impossibly competitive pipeline so that one day they maybe might have a chance at possibly getting an entry-level job out of college. I mean, they're already doing college. What the fuck is college for? Internships are a wild, wild stallion. And I think it's about time we reached into our saddlebags, grabbed our assless chaps, and broke this bronco once and for all. Obviously, we need to make entry-level jobs in the corporate world attainable through a less horrible process. But until the powers that be come to their senses and make it so you don't have to apply to learn how to bank when you are 19 years old, interns, now that you're here, just try and have a responsible good time. And once you acquire some clout in your corporate future, just remember how horrible this entire thing was and do your best to make the internship process a little less absurd. If you can do all of that and treat your bartenders with some goddamn respect, then I guarantee you'll turn out all right. Which is what this is all about, after all. For good work, I'm Dan Toomey.
And now, real selections from the Investment Banking 400 Questions Guide. What's the riskiest thing you've ever done? Don't say cocaine or any other drug/porn-like/illegal activity. What's your greatest fear about investment banking? Do not give an actual legitimate fear. Losing your friends/significant other, gaining weight, working too much, hating your life, getting laid off, etc. Why did you get a C in accounting? Don't even try to make up an excuse unless it's a really good one. For example, your parents both passed away that semester. Why are you so old?